A very panicked Karoline Leavitt gave one of two answers during her press briefing today. Now, the first was a non-answer. It was Leavitt unable or unwilling to respond to reporters when questioned or confronted with a lie. But the second response was somehow even worse for administration officials, because it was taking administration officials and throwing them directly under the bus. I'm talking Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and Greg Bovino, who Karoline Leavitt is clearly trying to shift the blame towards, because, as always, Donald Trump refuses any accountability. And it is why Karoline Leavitt, before attacking Bovino, Noem, and Miller, decided to start off the press conference with doing everything she could to praise dear leader and come to his defense.
I'll take a couple more. Go ahead.
Okay, so this weekend the president posted that this is a cover-up of the fraud in the state of Minnesota. He also posted Minnesota is a cover-up. These both happened after the shooting. So given that these came after the shooting, what is the this here? What is the cover-up he's alleging?
Yes, it's a good question. I spoke with the president about this at length. What the president is referring to is the fact that you have Governor Walz and, again, the mayor, who have been encouraging these left-wing agitators to come out and to harass and to dox and to threaten ICE and to make this conversation about and smear lies about federal law enforcement, who again are just trying to do their jobs in an attempt to distract from the widespread massive fraud that has taken place in their state. Billions and billions of dollars has been stolen from law-abiding taxpayers in Minnesota, and the administration continues to be very focused on getting to the bottom of it, especially, and the president raised a good question over the weekend with respect to Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who now has a net worth within the millions, and one must ask themselves why and how is that possible? Is she connected to the fraud rings that we have seen taking place within her state and her own district? It's a question the American people are raising, and the president believes it's one worth answering. Haley.
All right, I've got two questions, both of which I don't think Karoline Leavitt would be able to respond to. Who are the agitators? Is it members of the community who are simply existing? This is the thing that I don't get when Republicans try to argue that you should just stay out of the protest, stay out of the operation. What does that mean? ICE is literally everywhere. They are going into schools. They are going into homes. They are going into any Mexican restaurant in Minneapolis. So we should just stay out of public spaces? Is that what this fascist authoritarian administration is now doing? They get to surveil us and keep us inside? Is that what you're saying? Are you a paid agitator if you take a walk in your neighborhood and ICE is busting down people's doors? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, because it's not supposed to. They just want chaos, but the chaos has come to them. Donald Trump realizes that he's losing the PR battle, because that's why he cares about it. It's why he made the announcement that he's sending Tom Homan to Minnesota, and it's why the first victim of being thrown under the bus by Karoline Leavitt was Greg Bovino.
Elena.
Thank you. I had a question. With Homan now going to Minnesota, is Gregory Bovino also going to remain in Minnesota overseeing these ICE operations?
Mr. Bovino is a wonderful man, and he's a great professional. He is going to very much continue to lead Customs and Border Patrol throughout and across the country. Mr. Homan will be the main point of contact on the ground in Minneapolis.
So that was the first of, like I said, many instances of Karoline Leavitt not being able to answer a question directly. And Homan, as well, is the post that Donald Trump made saying that he's working with Tim Walz and it's going to be great and he wants to help us with crime, to me is an admission that he is surrendering. Donald Trump is not working together with Tim Walz, and a lot of Republicans came out and said, well, will Donald Trump just beat Tim Walz? Tim Walz is surrendering. Do you think Donald Trump wants to scale down ICE? Do you think Donald Trump wants to work with Tim Walz? No, but he understands that he's losing this battle. He understands that public sentiment is wildly against him, that he has never been more unpopular on the issue that he cares about most, and fear-mongering is not going to help him. When Tom Homan, $50K in cash in a Cava bag Homan, is being sent to fix things, to help the PR battle, when the thumb of a man that is Tom Homan, who speaks like he has marbles in his mouth, has to be the face of the administration, you know things have gotten bad. And especially because Stephen Miller, another thumb, is also being thrown under the bus. Now, it got really bad the second time a Stephen Miller question was asked, because it was also asked about Kristi Noem, but Karoline Leavitt, once again, couldn't answer.
Is top officials referring to him in that way, rushing to that judgment?
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. On Stephen Miller's comments, will Stephen Miller be apologising to the family of Alex Pritty for calling him, quotes, an assassin who tried to murder federal agents, despite the fact that, as you say, this is still under investigation?
Look, again, this incident remains under investigation, and nobody here at the White House, including the President of the United States, wants to see Americans hurt or killed and losing their lives in American streets, and we mourn for the parents.
The gall of Leavitt and Trump, and this is something that they're really doing right now, to say, well, we have to wait for an investigation to see if Stephen Miller should apologize. Obviously, he should apologize. But for them now to say, well, we can't jump to conclusions. We want to wait. We want to get the facts straight. That's what Donald Trump has always been about. He's not a reactionary politician. No. Donald Trump waits for the investigation. He likes to read all the information. No. They immediately jumped to call Alex Preddy, a nurse trying to help a woman who was being beaten on the street, a domestic terrorist, an assassin, a paid instigator, and now they want to wait? Bite me. It's bullshit. It is complete bullshit, and it's why Carolyn Leavitt also couldn't answer when she was asked about not just Miller, but Noem as well.
Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. To follow on Gabe's question, Secretary Noem said Alex Preddy committed an act of domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller labeled Preddy a domestic terrorist. Does the president agree with them?
Look, as I've said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Was he alarmed to hear his top
Thanks,
officials
Caroline.
referring to him in that way, rushing to that judgment?
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline.
Oh, so she wouldn't answer if Donald Trump was mad or not. Just couldn't get the words out. She doesn't know. She'll have to get back. Again, they're waiting for an investigation. And I have to continue to say, I've reiterated it a couple times in videos today, but I think it is important. The reason that Donald Trump and Carolyn Leavitt and Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem all jumped to say Alex Preddy was a domestic terrorist, he was an instigator, he was an assassin, he was hurting law enforcement, is because the first camera angle that we got, while to me told the whole story, because we did a video on it and it showed everything, it was the only angle they thought they were going to get. And like the killing of Renee Good, there were lots of different angles, but I would say the picture that we got of what happened to Alex Preddy might have been a little clearer. The administration is saying, well, you can't really tell what happens. That's what a lot of conservatives have said. Well, you can't really tell if the officer was hit or not, if she swerved or, first of all, Renee Good was trying to escape harassment. But Republicans have said, well, it's a little dingy, it's a little pixelated, you can't really see. And they thought they were going to be able to get away with that. Well, you can't really tell. We don't really know. And so they thought that they could sell us a lie. They thought with one camera angle, they could say, well, this is in dispute, and it's clear what he was trying to do when he reached for his gun. Not true. And we knew that from the beginning. But it is when that second and third and fourth video came out, when the eyewitness accounts started to pour in, when they started hauling off to prison witnesses of their state execution out of fear of what they might say, we unequivocally knew. Now, that's not to say that we didn't know from second to one, because we did, but that's really what started to scare them. And that's when they pulled back. And that's when they said, well, maybe we wait for an investigation, because they want to delay. They want you to think, well, I don't know, maybe they are taking it seriously, an investigation. I don't know, maybe they do. They don't. They're just kicking the can down the road. And how do you think that investigation is going to go? It's why I actually push back against the calls for body cams on these ICE agents. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I feel like we've become the body cams. But I feel like if Donald Trump has video, he'll twist it, they'll alter it with AI. Like, I'm not even joking. Any interaction with ICE, I feel like they'd alter it with AI if they had body cam footage, and they'd release it, and they'd say, this is the correct footage. They used AI to make it look like a woman that they detained was crying so they could post it on social media. You don't think that they would do that with any videos? I think so. But Carolyn Leavitt cannot support and cannot answer for Donald Trump's support of Stephen Miller and of Kristi Noem. That is the point that we have gotten to. That is the state of the MAGA civil war right now. They are at each other's throats. And I think Donald Trump sees that if he's going to escape, and he's going to try to do so without facing any accountability, it's going to take throwing someone under the bus. It's going to take a skull. Maybe it's Kristi Noem. I doubt it's Stephen Miller. The man he's in control of everything. But remember this. If Stephen Miller, who called Alex Preddy an assassin, is unable to be defended by the administration, where does that leave J.D. Vance, who retweeted that sentiment instantly? Not in a good place. The man is destroying his presidential campaign before it even starts. Not like it's really gonna pop off. Speaking of what's not popping off, Carolyn Leavitt, she wanted to brag about Donald Trump's polls for a second.
You wouldn't know this continues to be a very popular policy position from the biased media coverage over the course of the last few days.
Oh, the poll numbers are great? I haven't seen those poll numbers. Donald Trump's favorite pollster, Rasmussen, had him down 20 points. 20. I think Donald Trump, who's announced that he's suing pollsters, will probably go after them. Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, that's where things stand for Donald Trump, as he tries to whip the right-wing media up to defend him. And one of the most outrageous defenses I've heard actually came right here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Caroline. Jordan Conrad's from Gateway Fund. I have a few questions. First, with respect to the shooting in Minneapolis, we're seeing massive outrage from mainstream media and the left, but I'm just wondering, where was that outrage when Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, was executed by Capitol Police Officer Michael Byrd, who she posed no threat to in the U.S. Capitol?
Well, you raise a very important point, which I also believe that I just raised as well in those opening remarks, in that there has no doubt been selective outrage.
So I'm going to stop Carolyn Leavitt right there. Ashley Babbitt violently broke into the Capitol and was threatening an officer. Let's leave that there. But there's one more defense I continue to hear. One more that just really irks me. It's about Charlie Kirk. Oh, we always got to bring back up Charlie Kirk. And I see Republicans tweet this one thing, this one sentiment. When Charlie Kirk was killed, we prayed. When Renee Good, when Alex Preddy was killed, they rioted. First of all, protesting in your own city, defending your community is not rioting. But why would you have rioted for Charlie Kirk? A white guy at a white school in a white state who wore Trump paraphernalia, killed him, and then he was arrested and is on trial? Where's the fascism there? Some random white guy killed your favorite podcaster and we have to riot? Where's the government overreach? The only problem with the government in that instance was Kash Patel being such a fuckhead that he wouldn't even do his job. So don't make the comparison. Don't tell me that bullshit lie. Oh, Ashley Babbitt. Oh, Charlie Kirk. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not putting up with that bullshit. We're going to call it out on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. I know it's been a difficult couple of days, but we are going to keep on fighting y'all. We're not going to let them silence us. And until next time, I'll see you soon.